Telesis Autonomous Management Framework is a scalable network management platform. It supports allied Telesis switching, firewall, and wireless products, as well as a wide range of third-party devices, including video surveillance, cameras, and IP phones, for truly inclusive network automation. Ingram Micro helps businesses fully realize the promise of technology, helping them maximize the value of the technology that they make, sell, or use. No other company delivers as broad and deep a spectrum of technology and supply chain services to businesses around the world. From Marko Davidović, system engineer at Ingram Micro, we will learn more about this topic and presentation. Mr. Marko, welcome.
Welcome to you guys.
Thank you for joining us. You can share your screen.
Okay, as you mentioned, my name is Marko Davidović, and I'm coming from the Ingram Micro company. So I'm working here as a system engineer. A couple of years ago, I came here, and basically my role is some part is coming from the, let's say, enterprise networking, and also it is related for the security. So today I'm gonna present you a certain solution which is actually coming from the allied Telesis company. And I think that will be very interesting to you, just to see how stuff works, and how actually this solution can help you in your environment, or actually how can you basically help to your customers to protect your network. So today's subject will be allied Telesis self-defending network. Okay. Before I continue with this topic, I just want to say a couple of words about the allied Telesis company. Allied Telesis company, as you know, for those who don't know, is the company which is actually coming from Japan, and it was 1987, if I'm right. So basically, in the first time that they were producing the equipment, something like let's say media converters. Many of all the guys actually know that, and after that they were producing equipment like switches. In the most situation, we usually know the switches, but beside of that, they're also producing the firewalls, access points, etc. So basically, we have a wide range of the covering this enterprise, let's say, segment of the networking. Okay. Now, let's see what is the situation when we are speaking about the, let's say, in some usually company, and what is the actually the usual challenges in the company. The usual security environment is basically based on the firewall and the agent, on the terms of the protecting, laptops, computers, those peripheral, let's say, and devices. So the firewall basically can intercept the traffic while they pass through it. So that's the problem. Once the threat comes from the internal source, the firewall can detect it only once the traffic passes through the firewall itself. So this means that the virus that pass from the one terminal to another terminal is not free to spread around without involving the firewall. No, so basically, in this situation, we have a challenge of the, let's say, lateral movement. Moreover, also, once the threat is intercepted by the firewall, the traffic is not delivered outside, but there is nothing that the firewall can do to avoid the infection between the terminal signs. The firewall can block the source of the infection. This is currently the problem in the basic security architecture, and this is the problem we wanted to solve. So we usually this kind of design you will see basically in some, let's say, small offices with, I don't know, maybe 10 or 50, 10 or 20, let's say, employee guys. So in this situation, we somehow have to do, let's say, to reply on this kind of, let's say, challenges. As you see, a self-defending network is an automated edge security solution. So it solves the problem of threats coming from the basically LAN side. So I'm local area network. It's not from the WAN. It's obviously block the infected devices immediately according to the predefined rules without human intervention. First of all, when we are speaking about the fast response, and after that with accurate response. So it means that in some situation we can count on the false positive, but we have to know what are actually the challenges inside our network, but later on. So blocking devices are highlighted on the Vista Manager AX for remediation, and basically Vista Manager is not the topic which we gonna spend a lot of time today, but basically just to know that is virtual machine which can be installed somewhere, and it is the main purpose of the Vista Manager is basically for the monitoring all the situation. Okay. Now, self-defense network benefit and actually what are the let's say the advantage. It depends on how the system works. There are 3 steps. Once a threat enters a network, the first step usually performed by the firewall or by the antivirus is to detect the threat and correlate the threat within infected sources. Okay. Once the source is found, in the first thing to do is to isolate the source from the network so the threat cannot spread within the different devices. Remediation is the process to access the threat source and platform all the corrective action to have again the full operative device. If the threat comes from the outside of the network, there is no need actually for remediation process since the device is not within the local area network, obviously. So this is the point when we will offer you our solution to isolate that problem in your network, to catch the certain endpoint which actually making a problem in your local area network. So basically, we're hunting the troublemaker. Okay. The first area of optimization is the isolation. This is the most critical since without an automatic system like the self-defending network, the isolation is done manually. As you know, resolving the problem triggered by the human response can be done after a couple of hours, days, or weeks, or maybe that let's say triggering is happening never. So that is why we need a solution which can be automatically done for quick response. So that's why we need this kind of let's say automatization. And now also for the remediation process without an automatic system able to localize the infected terminal, all the activities are done basically manually. Okay, basically in this step you can use Vista Manager to make safe access over SSH or RDP session, depending which machine you are accessing. Okay, and after that you can find illegal processes and resolve problem if it is possible. So basically in this last step, I cannot say that our solution can resolve all those problems to clean those let's say workstations, but in this step however you are able to make access to those devices with the remote access. If we are speaking, for example, Windows workstations, we can use RDP legitimate process 3389, for example, or if it's some Linux, we can use SSH session. So in this situation, we still have a communication with this device, but we are sure that our environment is safe and isolated of those, let's say, problems in our network. So that's why it's important to use Vista Manager also. Here on this slide, you can see basically the difference between the human and between the machine. So the self-defending network offer network replace the long time of the manual reaction without the blocking the malicious station in the second. So that's why we are speaking about this. Okay. Now let's see what is basically the basic solution firewall on the internet boundary. Okay. Classic use of the firewall block coming threats from the internet, and the local infections are not blocked. So we know that. So if you see how UTM or next generation firewalls, it depends how we call those next generation firewalls or UTM works, you will know that that is usually based on the correlation of the hash. We call it DPI or deep packet inspection. Okay. So we are depending on malware database. So let's pretend that we didn't detect a new threat. What will be later? Well, later we will have a problem to stop lateral movement in our network. We can stop command and control communication, but we cannot stop lateral movement. So that's the challenge for us. How to resolve something which is already in our network? That is the challenge. Okay. So. Alternative architecture or another, let's say, model of protecting our network. I'm speaking without Allied Telesis solution, just to be clear, is to include another firewall device with untrusted zone pointing to the LAN segment and trust zone to the core of the LAN, protecting core from malicious traffic from the inside the LAN segment. This solution is expensive and not so easy for managing. You have to predict what is throughput in data center and to optimize this firewall according to your environment. So as you see on this picture, we can, let's say, summarize that this kind of design, including many firewalls in our network. So correlation between creating those rules, it is very tricky. It is very hard to set it. So, but yeah, we will have a, let's say, better protecting of the network. But as you see, nothing is automated. And in this situation, we have to spend a lot of money to buy next generation firewall, which will handle data center traffic, and to have another firewall which is going to be on the position of the perimeter protection or in the front of the network, whatever you say. Okay, so that's the second choice. Now there is the last one, which is also I have seen this kind of design, not exactly like this picture, but let's say that some, let's say, big company can spend a lot of money. So basically, they made the segmentation inside the data center. So basically, they have different vendors, different firewalls, many of them in high availability mode or whatever. So basically, you are protecting every scope of your network with a separated firewall. So this design is, let's say, expensive, very tricky for the fine tuning, but still we have a pretty good, let's say, protection of our network. Okay. So there is the three architecture, let's say, aspect which can we say that that is possible to protect your network. Okay. Now let's see how our solution from Allied Telesis self-defending network architecture gave us, let's say, right choice and a good design for our environment. The cheapest one is basically this one. So we have some benefits and the disadvantage of that. Okay. Self-defending network architecture. For this, you basically will need integration of your firewall with the rest of switches. After that, you can expect orchestration, communication, and orchestrated isolation of your potential problem problems in the network. Basically, you don't need another layer of firewall protection. So as you see on the right side, you will have a next generation firewall, for example, our firewall, okay? And in the case that this firewall, let's say, detects certain problem, and for example, if he know that certain workstation make those problems, he can send information to the switch and to the port to put in some isolated port or to shut down the port, whatever. So that's why it's very important to use this kind of technology and to understand that this kind of benefit which Allied Telesis offer to you. Okay. Now there is a little bit more complicated and better solution than the previous one. And the main difference is, as you see, now we have two firewalls. One is located in the data center, and the second one is basically on the perimeter of your entire network. Okay, maybe somebody of you asked me, do we offer, let's say, some huge firewalls which can handle data center traffic? Well, that's basically. I cannot say that we have let's say, so powerful devices which can be put in the data center firewall, but I can say you that our technology of self-defending offer to you possibility to make integration between our solution and the third-party solutions. So what does it mean? That means that for example, we can put in the data center segment some, let's say, firewall which is coming from the, for example, Sophos or maybe Palo Alto. There is a dozen of those equipment which can be, let's say, integrated, and over syslog communication, our engine can handle those, let's say, packets and can handle those information to receive information about the malicious point in your environment. So basically, you can use the third-party technology firewall, which is more powerful, which can be located in your, let's say, data center. So that's the point. Just for the, let's say, better understand. On this slide, I don't want to spend a lot of time. I just want to say that from the right side, it is basically our solution. And as you see, when you see basically the green marks, it means that it's good. So we are offering a good solution. And from the left side, you are basically seeing the design, which is usually in the companies. What can you actually see? So those automatization is a very, very big problem. I mean, I don't want to speak about the firewalls. Also, beside of on top of this, let's say, presentation, I just want to make a little bit of digression and to say you that, for example, our firewalls are also next generation firewall are also making SSL decryption. So we are making SSL offloading, and beside of that, we are not charging VPN, let's say, license. So basically, you can use the free of charge OpenVPN, especially in this Corona time when the dozen of actually almost everyone works from time to time from the home. You're basically able to use these remote access connection, which are free of charge. Just to mention that, okay? So let's see alternative proposal for the customers. So there is many, we can divide them into two groups, okay? So self-defending network with actually Allied Telesis can use OpenFlow protocol or AMF Allied Telesis management framework. So there is a two kind of them. From the right side, you can there is a solution for basically for the green field when all equipment is Allied Telesis. In brown field, you will use third-party equipment which can be protected in case that those switches can be managed over OpenFlow. So that's the point. just to better understanding. So right side, when you are basically forcing all equipment which is light Telesis, and in case that you have a brownfield and that, for example, there is a Juniper or, for example, Cisco or whatever, if that equipment supports open flow, you will be able to manage that equipment. Okay, so we are covering both of them. Okay, these are necessary components for to realize basically self-dependent network when we use AMF. Okay, on the left, all the components required for the self-defending network. Since this solution is based on AMF, the minimum requirement is to have AMF enabled switch in the edge. This is usually easy since large part of the customer we met are already allied Telesis customers, and so the basic requirements to proposal the AMF security is to have AMF capable switch in the edge. So then there are two types of customers: the customers that implement AMF, so already own AMF master, and the customers that do not have AMF master. Also, besides of that, you will see from the left side Vista Manager. I just want to mention you again. Basically, Vista Manager is not necessary component, but it is good to have just to have a, let's say, better visibility, to have a, let's say, more information, to see how your links are basically loaded in the terms of, I don't know, maybe quality service, whatever, just to be sure that everything is fine. Okay, in the open flow scenario, the solution is different. AMF security can be proposed only to customer owning edge switches with the open flow or able to install open flow license. In this situation, our ideal customers is someone that already use open flow to control the access. So you have to be sure that you have license on the third-party devices which can be managed over OpenFlow. Also, for this purpose, you have to have OpenFlow license for AMF. But so you have to be sure that not all the feature will be covered. Okay, but still you will have a protection. That's a main question. Yeah. So on this diagram, basically you can see some certain kind of flow. Firewall sends logs to isolation adapter. After that, isolation adapter pass message, decide action, and send comments to network. Isolation adapter is the technology of our AMF security controller, which is, like I said, software. Vista Measure is basically syslog server, okay, which receive those information and making output on your, let's say, web page. Here is the flow, okay? So read the message from the firewall, decide to take some certain action, okay? If decide the action is to do, block, avoid false positive, avoid critical service, okay, be intelligent, and finally communicate with the network. So in this last step, we are sending the information to block the traffic, to divert the traffic to quarantine, or to divert the traffic to protected VLAN. So basically there is 3 steps, like I mark on this slide. Okay. AMF security is provided as a virtual machine with the license expiring after 1 year, or you can buy it on 5 years. Where it can be installed? It can be installed on the VMware, on Windows Server, or as add-on on the core switch. But those features are basically, you know, the huge one, the data center switch is X8112 or X8106. But if you ask me, I will certainly tell you that the virtual solution is much more better. Also, if you are speaking about the maximum of the masters, which can you have in your environment, is 4, and also for each area maximum is 510. So potentially you have over the 100 switches which can be, let's say, managed with this solution. Okay. Delivery model of AMF-based license on the top. So you see, first you need IMF security license. Second, you need IMF master and IMF proxy. When you use IMF cloud or those other models, they're basically built in. So actually, if you buy some of these four solutions, you don't need a proxy license. Or if you are going with X950 or X930 series, you will need the proxy license. Down below, you can see all the switches basically which are supported. Okay, so that's it. When we were speaking, this previous slide was related for the, like I said, IMF. And the second one, this is the case you're using OpenFlow. So you basically need the IMF security license. And if you need OpenFlow license for switches and for the Wi-Fi access points. So basically it's a similar thing, but you will need OpenFlow because you are managing third-party devices. Okay. These are certain benefits. Okay. If you see, actually, these are actually difference between OpenFlow and IMF. I don't want to spend a lot of time, but just to know that, for example, on this slide, you can see what are the features which are actually supported on IMF and which are not supported on the OpenFlow. So, for example, link down, IP filter, IMF dependency, those features are not supported related to the OpenFlow technology, which is open source. But if we are using IMF, we can see that all those things are basically supported. Also, beside of that, I just want to mention that there is a certain kind of rewards. Awards we actually received, for example, in San Jose 2020. This award was achieved in the basically category of most innovative insider threat prevention and next generation endpoint security solution. And besides of that, we still there is also one more, and etc. There is many of them. Okay, here is a short video I just want to share with you. So for those guys who will maybe better understand on this short video.
Self-defending networks react immediately to any detected threat or data breach. Otherwise, a breach can go minutes, hours, or even days before being detected, causing disruption and cost to spiral. Implementing an allied Telesis self-defending network is easy and effective, working seamlessly with our firewalls, or almost any other firewall on the market. The firewall analyzes traffic, warning our AMF security controller of suspicious activity. The AMF security controller, which runs as a virtual machine, incorporates an intelligent isolation adapter engine that responds immediately to stop the spread of infection. Using either the industry standard OpenFlow protocol or our AMF network automation technology, the edge switch or wireless access point is instructed to isolate and quarantine the suspect device to protect the network, while all other users continue to have normal access to online resources and applications. Transform your network security using any OpenFlow supporting network equipment. Or even better, deploy an allied Telesis proprietary solution. Integration with AMF enables many intelligent automation features proven to save time and reduce operating costs. Add visibility from Vista Manager EX, our network management and monitoring tool, and administrators have security, automation, and management features in a single cohesive package. So talk to your local sales team about building a network that defends itself. Allied Telesis. Network smarter.
Okay, here is certain kind of design. I just don't want to spend a lot of time because we're short. And and before I close this session, I just want to thanks to you on your availability to listen to this session. And I want to call you in our company to visit us in terms to show you how stuff works, to give you right choice for your purpose, not to make some, let's say, oversized quote. We will deliver you right solution. And I think that is for this short presentation. So thank you again, and see you in some other occasions. If you have a certain question, please contact me by mail, or you can send it in the chat.
Marko, thank you for this great session, and I will have two questions for you.
Yeah, please.
My first, what about the integration with other platforms?
Yeah, definitely. We are supporting other platforms. For example, it's very interesting to make integration with, if you're speaking in the terms of protection, for example, Sophos, Palo Alto, as the sources of the certain, let's say, threat detection. In that case, we can receive those information, and over our, let's say, solution, we can trigger a certain action to isolate that malware. Yeah.
And my last, does it provide auto backup in case of incidents and auto update?
Yeah, definitely. In that situation, we have a Vista Manager, and it is actually the other solution, which is coming from the Telesis, and we also can support schedule, let's say, a backupping of the configuration, and also we are scheduling certain updates or rollback, whatever. Yeah, it's possible.
Dear Marko, thank you. Thank you. That will be all for this day, for this event today.